What's up, guys? It's Kalen from Game for Pancakes. I have this kind of setup going because I want to show off my ceramic work that I did in school this semester. I have my shaving mirror so I can check in. Today is the 11th of December, and this video won't probably come out until after Christmas because this has some people's Christmas presents in it, but I'll start off kind of toward the beginning and kind of talk you through this kind of stuff we had to do in class. So to start off, we have a whole bunch of bowls. This is a coil bowl where you just take some clay, you roll it out into a really long string basically, and wrap it up into a bowl shape. I cheated and had a flat piece of clay be the bottom piece, but this is the first thing I made. It took probably 2 months for the oven to actually get used on it because you just leave it on a shelf in my class and you wait for technicians to go put it in an oven. But yeah, so that's the first bowl. I then made a smaller version, which is basically like a minimalist teacup, basically. I use this to put coins in when I'm not showing it off on the internet or getting it graded. At some point I started putting my initials and the year I made it. I can't tell if you can see that, but it's 19 and then a KP. Because I got a bowl stolen at some point, and I revised this into a more professional looking thing, so it's easier to distinguish as mine. But we'll get to that later. I like how the color came out on this one, probably the best out of my earlier stuff. And then we have stuff called pinch pots, where you just take a big ball of clay and you kind of work it until you have a bowl shape. This one's about 2 inches tall, maybe 2.5 at its tallest point. Can't really use it for anything. I can probably put my keys in this, but not really anything I can do with it. It's a practice work is what all these are at the beginning of the class, kind of teaching us the basics and stuff. Then we have some of my slab bowls where you roll out a giant flat piece of clay and put it over a bowl form. Now I tried to be like super cool and edgy, and I looked up some language runes. I think this is for Disney's Atlantis, and I put in a message to myself, which I've totally forgotten what the message says. It's probably something like "this is a bowl" or something. And then this big spot from here to here is just gross, and I had to erase it and it didn't work out very well. But I like the bowl, it's pink. I like how the feet came out. This is the only time I did feet and they turned out okay. I just didn't like how tall it was for how little storage capacity, I guess, it has. So I kind of stopped doing feet like this after this. And I started doing feet like this. This is just 3 little nubs, I guess, make a bowl. This is probably my favorite bowl that I've made. I use this for ramen quite a bit. I don't know how to get rid of this cloudy bit at the bottom. That's in the glass. That's the glaze on top. But this was also a slab bowl where you just put it over a bowl form and just kind of pat it down until it's a bowl shape. And then last of the bowls is a kind of a mixture of a pinch pot and a slab bowl. I call this my nacho bowl. I haven't used it for nachos yet, but the idea is that you put whatever dip you want to put in the middle here, and then you surround the outside with chips. I don't think this is an original idea or anything, just something I thought would be cool. I'm surprised that it actually is strong enough to work. I didn't think it was going to work. I was just trying to get rid of the rest of my clay at the time, and it worked out okay. Next, I started working in some cups. I have a couple here that are just kind of basic. Some of these I think you've seen in recordings of me in the last few weeks since I started YouTube again. I think this one might have been in the I'm Back video, I can't remember. But when I was making this, it didn't seem like the handle was going to be very strong. So in the second version of this mug, which I didn't do a very nice color, I added this little inlay kind of shape. Strengthens it a whole lot, makes it really hefty and sturdy. They're nice. They're nice usable cups. This is another minimalist teacup sort of thing, where it's just a cylinder kind of cup thing. I didn't put my name on this one. I guess I forgot to do that. I don't know how I got the colors I did, but I like it. I use it a lot. I pour drinks in it and then slowly drink them over the course of whatever I'm doing. I like it. I probably use that the most. Now, this was a project on my own time that didn't quite work out right. This was meant to be kind of a sugar bowl for like a tea set. I had made this bowl, which again has my initials on it, and then I had made a lid. The lid broke, and then it didn't break until after we had moved on to the second type of clay, which is why this one looks bluer than this one. This is kind of a reddish clay when we're working on it. It kind of dries kind of like a tan. This one is more of a whitish clay. It's only tan now because I did a black underglaze kind of thing to try and make it match better. This is where I got my fancier initials thing. And the issue is that this clay shrinks at a different rate than this clay does. And so when you put the lid on, it technically works, but it's not the right size anymore. It's quite a bit smaller. So I'm hoping that I can use this in a future teapot that is still being worked on. I have a whole bunch of projects that are still in class, and hopefully those will be done by the time I leave home for the holidays. This was again trying to get rid of some more clay, just as a quick and dirty thing. It's more of the brownish clay, with back to my bad initial job, but you can't even tell it's a K. It looks more like a backwards Y. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to have a cup that I just squeezed really hard, and I had my hand kind of form to it, which kind of works. It shrank, so it's not my perfect hand size anymore. And then the coloring is kind of weird. This was all supposed to be this lightish blue color. I don't know where this red came from. Actually, no, you know what? I think this was all supposed to be this red color, and I don't know why the rest of it didn't kick, I guess is the term, maybe? I don't know. Maybe I didn't mix the glaze up enough. I don't know. But I like it. I've used it. This is what I put water in my bathroom. Next is kind of a bigger project, so I might have to scoot the phone back or tilt it up a little bit. Yeah, this is not gonna work too well. Oh, that kind of gets it. This is supposed to be a vase. The vase was supposed to tell a narrative story. I kind of have the idea of underwater kind of kraken thing coming to attack a little boat sitting on the rim here. Bubbles. Oh, and then let me tilt it back down so you can see kind of the face of the kraken thing here. Color didn't work too well. Have big seams in color. So yeah. Next I have this little coaster project I tried to work on. I made a little stand for them, and then these were just flat pieces of clay I cut circles out of and glazed them. They don't sit flat, which sucks. It's kind of hard to tell, but they wiggle enough that they're annoying. I could probably put something on the bottom of them, make them work. But the tops aren't flat either, which would be an issue with putting like cups on them. Little stand. There were originally 6, which fills out the rest of it more. 4 of them are holding my TV up another 1/4 of an inch, and they look good there. They work there, so I'm leaving them there. But they all look the same. Doesn't really matter. Next is a mug I made for my friend. She likes little piggies, so I made her a little piggy mug. This is probably the last thing I made in this type of clay. Everything else from here on out is the whitish clay. So you have the little swirly pigtail, which looks like a poop. I tried to get fancy with the handle here. Made ears, eyes, nose, whatever. They didn't have pink, so I made it a blue pig upon her request. It's a nice mug. It's charming in a way. You could probably find this at a professional potter's store. Probably a better quality than mine, obviously, but you know, something similar looking. I kind of like how the color works. I don't know how I got it to work that way, but it looks cool. Next, we have what were the beginnings of throwing, which is where you actually put clay onto a pottery wheel and it spins around. I wasn't quite good at making them go straight up yet or have flat tops, but it's not too bad. It has a really fat bottom and it's very heavy, which means that it's too thick at the bottom and it's really thin at the top. You can see better. This is where I was trying to get my my kind of stamp thing working better. I don't know what color this was supposed to be. This was probably supposed to be I don't know. This looks like a mix of the rusty red and the yellow, which is weird because I've tried that combo before and it didn't turn out this orange, which is what I've tried to do in the past. But whatever. Again, it's another little cup for when I don't have anything else. When everything else is dirty, basically. Here's another one. Actually, let me go ahead and get the rest of those type of things out. I think we just have this one and this one. I'm just going to put them off screen for a minute here. So this is another just kind of... This is more of a mini bowl, considering it's like the bottom is like right here, so it's like almost 3/4 of an inch thick at the bottom. So this is not it's not a good thing in ceramics, basically. This is what I've been told. It's an uneven distribution of heat or whatever if you put hot stuff in it. But this is probably gonna be like a pencil cup, where I just put pencils sticking out of the top. I don't know what this little streak is. I think I just erased the color there, trying to cover up a different mistake. I think it worked out pretty well. Nice color. Blues are probably the best color that we have that work. We have blues, reds, and a few greens, but I don't have much, even though it's my favorite color. Then we have this thing. It's weird looking. I got more creative with the foot, which is what the bottom is called. Apparently it's called the foot. You can see my initial in there again. I got rid of the apostrophe of the 19. It's just KP19 now. Next year, whenever I start making stuff, it'll be KP20. Kind of help me date some of my projects once I'm older and wiser and looking back on my life. And I like this one. This one's a little planter pot. Best thing I can describe it as. I put a hole in it so that you can drain water out of it. I might put a tiny piece of mesh or something in there so that dirt doesn't come out of it. But well, let's get a size reference here. Here's the thing of Tic Tacs. It's a small thing. I didn't actually think it was perfectly the same height. That's kind of funny. Let me pop one of these real quick. But yeah, perfect for little tiny things. Maybe growing, I don't know. Probably can't fit an avocado seed in there. But, you know, just tiny things. Sweetgrass, lemongrass, stuff like that. Cute little thing. I made a whole bunch of cute little things once I started throwing pottery. We have this thing, which I don't know what really happened. I was just kind of making a bowl that was kind of like a circle kind of shape, and then the top edges didn't quite work out, so then I thought, maybe I could make it look sort of like an egg sitting on a pedestal kind of thing, and then something hatched out of it. I don't know. I'm going for like a dragon egg on a pedestal kind of feel. Again, not really much use for it. It just kind of looks cool. Just something I did. Here's another failed turned art project. It's a little vase. It could probably be a planter if it's something that can retain moisture pretty well. It was going to be something similar to this shape, but then the edges started caving in because the walls were too thin in places. And then they just started sloping down as the wheel was spinning. It's like, well, that still kind of looks cool. It got to a point where it stopped sagging. And then, well, I'll take it off the wheel, put it on the shelf, let it dry, color it, see how it turns out. And it turned out pretty cool. It almost looks intentional, which is the best outcome for failure. Probably one of my favorite pieces. This is another example of trying to get rid of the last of my clay without trying too hard. This is really, I think it's a really ugly looking bowl. The thickness between right here and right here is about an inch. Oh, hey, this is actually the brown clay again, but you can tell because of my bad thing on it. But it's almost solid clay from here down, which, again, it was wasting clay, trying to get rid of it so I could get a new bag of clay. Whatever. I really like how the color turned out. I don't know how I achieved it. You can kind of see that there's a little bit of crackle going on in the what I'm going to call the clear part. This was all one color glaze, and it just explodes in different directions for some reason. You can tell, and like over in areas like this, it turns almost purple, while over here it's more scarlet, sometimes almost black, and then clear. It's all one color. You see more purple. I just dipped the whole thing in the liquid, pulled it out, let it drip dry, and then put it in the kiln, which is what I do with most of my stuff. But this was just, again, this is probably another example of this color from the hand thing not kicking. This one didn't kick at all. This one almost finished kicking. It didn't kick quite right here. I don't know why it's blue here and clear here, or almost green, but such is life. I'm gonna use all this stuff anyway, except for the ones that are presents, really. Next we have another piece that's referred to as hand building, which is what this one was, and what all the bowls are before I started throwing them there's throwing and then there's hand building. So this was another hand built one, but this one was made out of the white clay. This is a Harley Davidson Cup for my stepdad. This was supposed to be orange and white, which are two of the Harley Davidson colors, but I don't know. The orange didn't quite go right. It just turned all white. And again, it's about the size of a Tic Tac cup, Tic Tac thing. Again, this is all before Christmas, so this will go up after I know whether he liked it or not. This is another example of the glaze not kicking. You can tell with a little bit of purple at the bottom that this was supposed to be red. And it's just white and clear, and it's got a little bit of crackle. This is from my friend Mike. I can't remember what game he wanted the symbol from, but this is a symbol from either Bloodborne or Dark Souls, I think. Something Moon. If you're... I haven't played much of those games, but if you know what it is, let me know. He knows what it is. I probably have it in a text message conversation with him at some point. But, I mean, white cups are a staple. Everyone has a white mug somewhere. But, so yeah. Again, Tic Tac reference. Small cups. Shrinkage rates are weird. It's a nice cup. Another example of shrinkage rate. This one's shorter than a Tic Tac thing. This is a little bowl for my grandmother. She is a very tiny lady, so she wanted a little bowl. I really like how the colors on this one is. This is one of the few examples I have of green. This vase, this green, and a couple other mixtures, and then a few things that are still in the kiln, but that's it. Everything I've done is mostly blue, because those are the colors that come out the best. See me, look how awesome and shiny that blue is. The green is nice, but it's kind of freckled with stuff. Still a nice green, I love it. But she has a whole bunch of little bowls that are even smaller than this that she just eats out of. So this is about the size I thought she would like. Even though it shrank smaller than what I would have wanted it, it's probably a good size for her. I don't know. I hope she likes it. This is a piece for my mom. She wanted a little cup bowl thing to put her makeup sticks in. Whatever sticks it is. It's a lipstick, brushes, whatever stuff she wants to put it in. She likes bats, so I put a little bat on it. This is another example of the green and the blue, which I think is an amazing combo. And then I left the whiteness just kind of blank. And it kind of has a small transition area from green to brown to white, which I think is very pretty. It has this big crack in the bottom. And I don't know why. I mean, you can't... There's a little bit of it on the inside. You can kind of see that little sliver in there, but it's not too bad. But it's not watertight. You can't put liquid in it anymore. But she says you didn't... She knows about the crack. I told her about it when I was making it. She said that she didn't care. It was going to be for makeup, but I don't know. I'm still sad about it. Hopefully the bat will make up for it. She likes bats. And then I have this little shot glass. I like it. It's tiny. It's cute. It's hard to make something this small on a wheel, in my opinion. I mean, so you're supposed to, when you're making something with like a cylindrical inside, you're supposed to push your thumbs into the middle and then spread it. That's how you get cylinders like this. You put your thumbs in while it's spinning down and then pull out until you get this size. With this one, I had to do one finger in and then squeeze with my other hand until like the clay thinned out a little bit so that it only opened up. I mean, I can't even get 2 index fingers in there. It's not even a proper shot glass size. It was before it shrank in the oven. I looked it up. I think a shot glass is supposed to be like 1.5 ounces or some... I forget the milliliters at the moment, but this is about 0.8 ounces. It's not even an ounce of liquid. But it's a beginner shot glass is what I like to call it. Tic Tac for scale. It's a nice size. I like it. It's the first try in the brown, which I kind of like. I've already finished all my projects that I can work on. None of them are going to be utilizing this brown anymore. But if I take another ceramics class in that building, I'll probably use this brown a lot because this is a nice brown. I'm going to cut the video here. I have more stuff in the oven in the classroom, and then after those come out, I will show those. Okie dokie. Continuing on. I was finally able to get all my finished stuff out. We're going to start going through mugs that I have for other people for Christmas again. So this one is for my foster sister. She likes pandas. This glaze was supposed to be purple, but it ended up being shades of orange and green and blue. I have no idea what happened to it, but I got the black inlay on the panda pretty well, and I got my name on the bottom. This one is for my friend Norm. I can't remember the character. It's not Hatsume Miku, I know, but that's what comes to mind when I look at it. It's supposed to be some red-haired chick from a game he plays. I don't know. I wish I had done more kind of anime-style cups like this, because this one turned out pretty good. This is for my friend Damien. He wanted the symbol on it. I don't know if it means anything, but he said it was in kind of like a fan-made story he made. I don't know if he just made up the symbol or not, but I like it. It looks like, with the circle thing, it kind of looks like something you'd buy in a store. I kind of like it. This is for my friend Andrew. It is a symbol from his homebrew D&D game. It's like a mix of a gear cog and an Ouroboros tattoo. Green, we share our favorite color for green, and I really like how this one came out. It's a nice sized mug. I have this set of coasters, which isn't for anybody, but it's just next in the pile that I'm sitting next to. It's for blue coasters. They're a little wobbly. That one's pretty good. This one wobbles. So this one and this one are pretty good. This was initially going to be part of a tea set, which ended up being a little small. Here's Tic Tacs for scale again. I wanted to make another tea set to kind of compensate for how small that one was, so I made this one, which ended up being smaller than this one, on the outside anyway. It holds about the same amount of liquid, but because the spout is higher, you can actually fill it up to the top. With this one, because the spout is lower than the top, you can't fill it that high. This was the cup that was going to go with this one. I had initially planned for this lid to fit on it, but it's too big. I might be able to take a grinder and grind some of that clay off, but in the meantime, if I want to, I can use the lid from the other teapot. It's not too big of a difference, but I notice it enough so that it's going to bug me. Lots of editing. This is the mug for my brother. He likes Dark Souls. This is the sun symbol from, what's his name? I don't know. I haven't played enough, but I know about the symbol. My brother is left-handed, so I made the handle on this side. A lot of the mugs that came out of the oven this time have this dripping issue going on, so I'm going to have to take a grinder and kind of chip that off so it's flat again. But yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. This is for my friend Leah. She likes horses and unicorns. Again, has the the dripping issue on the bottom. This one took some of the kiln shelf with it a little bit. I was able to get the kiln off, but I still got the drips on all sides and stuff. I got a little bit of the chip off already, but it wobbles, so I need to fix that. This is from my friend Thea. She likes maple leaves. I really like how the handle on this one turned out. I tried doing something swirly with it. This is my first attempt at a leaf. I do other leaves. It's a nice mug. It's kind of small. Tic Tacs for scale. But yeah, I like it. Nice mug. This is from my sister-in-law. She likes Supernatural, the show. So I looked up the symbol for it. I don't watch the show, so if it's not 100% accurate, sorry about that. More dripping issues. I don't know what happened with this set of stuff. Also, this was supposed to be red. We got different shades of green and blue and purple. Very little actual red showing through. Purple's on the inside. But yeah. I don't know if I showed this one already, but this is the mug I made for my sister. I pressed leaves into the wet clay and did black stain over it to emphasize the ridges in the leaves. Pretty nice. This was a simple mug for my grandpa. Nice ridged cup. This one dripped a little bit too, but it doesn't touch the table, which is fine. It just barely. So it's a nice size mug. I like the handle on this one. I don't know why this handle came out so nice, but yeah, it's a nice mug. This is the mug I made for my stepmother. I tried to do blue sky on top of mountains and trees. There's dripping issue happening at the crease of the mountain, and then I think either right here or right here I had a sun in a different color glaze that just got glazed over by the blue. But yeah, I think it turned out okay. Nice sized mug again. Let's see. I don't know if I showed this one or not. This is a bowl for my dad. Tried to go for orange. I have trouble with orange and purples for some reason. There's a little bit of it right there. I should have just gone with what's called the tomato red, which is like the closest we have to orange, but I tried to mix that with the yellow, and I got this weird kind of color thing. So yeah, it's a little popcorn bowl for him. This is just a thrown piece on the wheel that I did. Kind of early piece. I'd never noticed that crack before. Huh. Whatever. It's this is back before I developed a symbol congruently through all my pieces. It was a nice, this is like the third thing I ever made on the wheel, but it came out so nice I ended up turning it in as part of my final critique. I had that this morning. Today's the 20th of December. It's been over a week since I last recorded this. Here is a ceramic sandal that I had to make. The project was to make a shoe out of clay. I believe this is called a geta or a gita or something. It's a Japanese wooden sandal. I think people who watch anime will have seen it. If you haven't, I think the only other mainstream way you would have seen it is Samurai Jack wears something similar to these. Something like that. It's an old cartoon. I don't know how old you guys are. But yeah. This is all clay. Tried to make a wood texture. Turned out okay, I think. And then this is the last piece. This is kind of a failed piece. It didn't get fired. So kind of a quick look into how this stuff works. So this is the original color of the clay. And then I don't remember what color glaze I did. All the glaze looks white when it's done. This is something called a coffee pour over, is what I've been told. It's a bowl with a plate attached to it, and then you put a coffee filter in it, put your coffee grounds in it, pour hot water over it, and then put this on top of, let's say, another mug, and then it brews your coffee that way. My coffee maker's been acting funny, so I wanted to make it. I had thought it was in the kiln for like the last 2 weeks because I hadn't seen it, but then I came in this morning and it was on the rejected shelf, which means that the kiln technicians thought that because I have glaze inside these holes for the coffee to drain through, that the glaze would either leak through or fill up the holes. They usually leave notes saying why things were rejected. Mine didn't get a thing, but I asked my professor about it and he said what I just said. So if I take another ceramics class, I'll probably keep this until then so I can get it fired. If not, I'll probably toss this and just buy one. Really disappointed about this. It took me a while to get this plate and bowl shape right, but whatever. Let's see, let's do a quick favorite pieces montage. Oh, and real quick, this was the mug I made for my other brother. It's supposed to be the UA symbol for My Hero Academia, but it turned out kind of funky. It's a nice color though. It's still a nice mug. I just wish that the symbol had come out cleaner, but whatever. So yeah, these are probably my favorite pieces that I made this year. I like the green, I like the skull. Oh, and you know what? I like how this one kind of messed up. I don't know. I just like the color scheme on it, even though it's supposed to be red. I can still like it. But yeah, so that's all the ceramic pieces I made. This will come out after Christmas, like I said. But I will have already put out videos on my sculpture class and my jewelry class. Subscribe if you guys want to see more stuff like this, and leave a comment letting me know that. I will probably start posting more drawing videos come 2020. Hopefully more game videos. Let me know what games you want, and I'll talk to you guys later.